Hey guys, Chris again. So I had my Pantera for a day, and I had to, of course, heavily modify it. So I put the tungsten hammer in, and I had to do some machining of the internals with the lathe to get it to work. But it works, and I did the double bottle, but the only thing I found other people doing when they did the two bottles was putting a bracket, like a thing around the bottle for the bipod, which I did my bipod right on the M-lok, so I wasn't about to take it off. So I have to touch up the paint a little bit on it, but I machined it to where the bottle will fit, and I can put a Picatinny right here, which I'm using for a sling. And this is actually sturdy as hell because the plenum ends right in the middle of it, like towards the front of this, but just before that screw. So that screw is on the empty part of the shroud, and so is the bottom screw that's holding on the Picatinny for the sling mount. So I'll put that on. I'm just about done putting it back together from doing all the big stuff. So I just need to put this stuff back together, and then I can show you the gun working, which is always the fun part. So while I'm doing this, all this time with air guns that I've gotten into air guns, because my real hobby was firearms, but I've gotten way into air guns because they've gotten so powerful that it's intriguing. And all this time, like a synonymous name in optics for, sorry, I'm not looking at the camera, I'm trying to finish this up, but a synonymous name for optics in the airgun industry is element optics, and I had never tried it because I'm used to Burris and Vortec and all that, and those are the scopes that I have. And then 6-hour Kilo 6 I use for binoculars and rangefinder. But anyways, I went to buy this gun in Massachusetts at Northeast Northeast Air Guns, or something like that. And the guy Mike there was really nice. The only problem with the scope, I was gonna buy the Nexus. The only reason I didn't is because they only had it in Milrad. So I use MOA, and somehow, some way, I ended up with no MOA. Pun intended. I don't know how I ended up with a Titan in Milrad, when the only reason I bought the Titan and not the Helix was because they didn't have the Helix in MOA, but I still ended up with a Milrad scope, and I'm pretty pissed off about it. So I called and left a message over the weekend, but I didn't call today, so I got to get that squared away. But I mean, it was probably an honest mistake, so I'm not too mad about it. I mean, I'm kind of upset about it because I actually really like the scope, so that's why I brought it up. The scope is very clear. I mean, for that price range, it's really, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck at that price range, because the price of optics, like the scope that I'm about to put back on this gun is a Burris XTR3, which is a top of the line scope. I mean, it's up there with my other scope, which is a Vortec Viper. So those are 34 millimeter tubes. They're 20. This one is 36. It's 4.5 by 30 by 56 for the Burris. The other one is, I have to read the box. I think it's definitely a 34 millimeter tube and a 56 millimeter objective. I think it's slightly less zoom, but the glass on those two is pretty hard to top, and that Helix was pretty darn close. I mean, I didn't even get to put it on a gun, so I don't know for sure. But from what I looked at through it, it looked like I wanted to put it on a gun. So definitely not happy that I waited so long to try those out. because had I tried them sooner, I would have been going with a couple more of those for the air guns. But I've got plenty of assault rifles I can put my other scopes onto, and maybe start accumulating some of their line for my air guns. Although I do like the traditional gun precision on their scopes, because I like to really shoot long range, which is why I buy guns like these. And my AEA guns that I wasted my money on are for sale. So if anybody's interested, give me a call. I have the ones that were supposed to be the best, like the 357 Terminator, the 32-inch long bullpup 30 caliber Challenger, which is loud and powerful as hell. That's one thing I will give that gun. It's very powerful, like 1,200 feet per second with a heavy slug. And I have not modified that gun. I don't really shoot it very often. The 357 Terminator gets less feet per second. Obviously, it's a 357 anyways. It's a lot bigger slugs, but it's semi-automatic, which is beautiful, and it's a lot more pleasurable to actually fire. Oh, okay. Let's not knock that over. Where is the other piece? I just need that one other piece, and I'm done. All right, let's put that away. Put these away. Put this hammer weight in here. And there's one more. Let's put that one in there, and these can go away. Alright. Where's that other? There we go. Set to that magnet. And so is the screw. Oh, thank God this thing is almost done. I'm eager to shoot it now. This was a little bit of a challenging thing, with the internals on this gun, and familiarizing myself with it, and then machining this whole M-lok rail so that I could put it back on with the bottle, which I'm going to show you in a second, because nobody has yet to come up with any solution to when you put the bottle on the front, there's no more rail. You just have this stupid strap on your bottle, which I don't think is a good route to go at all. So you see my bottle, it's a little tight, obviously, but I made it tight because I didn't want to take anything more off of this, because I wanted to keep it as secure as possible. All right, let's get the other one started. All right. You see, this is a 600 millimeter, and it's still a very long gun. I definitely would have gone with the 7. I didn't go with any of the barrels any less than 7 on the impact, but the 7 in a gun like this is just very long. And I'm thinking my next gun is going to be the Crown, and the Crown, at least it comes with a short barrel. You have the 700. I'm looking at the Nordic Wolf GRS one, and it comes with a 700 millimeter, but it also comes with a 380 or something. And I've heard it's very accurate even with that. Let me put this like this. There we go. Pretty low. Yeah, like 100 bar. I gotta fill this baby up. Let's make sure we're all tight. And I got the second bottle adapter from Huma, and I would definitely recommend Huma, because the FX one, even though it's their gun, they somehow don't realize that So this metal plate you see between the bottle and the actual block, that metal plate has the double threaded part. So you thread it into here after you take the cap out, which is somewhere. The plug should be somewhere around here. I don't know what I did with it. Anyways, after you take out that plug, and you put that in, that block goes over top of it, and it protects the other part up here, and then it gives it a lot of stability so that the bottle, if you're resting it on something or whatever, then you don't have to worry about this. This is not having any give whatsoever. I mean, like, I'm yanking it, and it's just not going to move for sure. There's no way it's going to move. And I got to keep my bipod the way I liked it, and it's stable as hell because this screw going right to the shroud, and then also I'm going to put this little piece of Picatinny that I machined on the bottom right here, which I have to paint that too, but I'll get to that tomorrow. So those threaded holes that are in it are perfect for having something go tight enough to the barrel to secure it. So I used a long screw in the front and then a standard one in the back, because the front, top and bottom, have a screw that both reach the shroud so that they're holding the shroud steadily in place. Okay, let me start the bottom one first. The bottom's a 2.5. Tighten this up. Alright, and then I'm going to torque my scope on and see if that thing is still zeroed or not. It's probably going to be a little different anyways because the power level with the tungsten. So this is the Burris XTR3, which is a beautiful scope. I wish that the magazine location didn't, like, I can't put it any further forward because this section of the scope will interfere with the magazine, which is a shame. I mean, I have offset rings, but I actually need to use those on my other gun, on my Western Rattler, because I put an extended top rail so I could do an overbore bipod, which I just got a GRS. I was using a UTG, and I saw the GRS while I was up there picking up this gun and the other scope, which I put that other scope on my Impact, by the way. And when I saw it there, I said, you know what, screw it, let me try it. Okay. All right, we are ready to rock and roll. Fill her up and rock and roll. And now I have, that's 5, 6, 7, 880 cc's of air here. So that's a beautiful thing. All right, let's see if she's still zeroed. I'll bring you along with me. You can see the first shot with the tungsten and the double tank. I'm probably going to turn the hammer down a little bit at first. All right. Can you see me? All right. Oh, by the way, this Edgun quick fill is awesome. Is a must-have. Got my regulator at 155, 160. Wow, it actually takes some air in this gun now. Not used to that. See, no bleeding the hose. It's, oh my God, so much easier. Oh, let me grab a magazine, that would help. I'll be right back. And I got this gun in 25 caliber, which happens to be my favorite because of the combination of precision and having some stopping power. Because when I'm out shooting squirrels or, oh man, this thing is so accurate. I've shot some tiny birds that you would think you couldn't even hit because they are so small. And my God, do they go for a ride. I mean, like even the squirrels go flying off the trees. These are 52 grain, 25 caliber. I love the deep dish on these new magazines too. I wish the magazine well was a little bit deeper on the impact. I mean, I ground out the top of the lid for the magazine. I ground it in as far as I could. I used like my soldering gun with a flat blade. And then I used the Dremel. I did the best I could to just get it a little bit, remove a little bit of material where the slugs are, so that it would index when I shot. And it worked. So I mean, it's doing pretty well. Let's start like 15. We'll start it at 15, see how she does, and turn it up from there. Got the chronograph on. I'll let you know what it says. I don't have my tablet set up. I still don't even know where the hell I put it. And at least this gun has 16 rounds. I mean, it compared to 25. You can't compete with the impact that has a tremendous shot count and a tremendous, which hopefully this gun will too now, and a tremendous amount of ammunition per magazine. But for a competition type rifle, this is a great. They're mostly 10. So 16 is, it doesn't seem like much, but it makes it a lot easier when you have 3 of them, which is, I bought 2 extra. When you have 3 and you keep them all full, you get a good amount of shots. Oh, wow. 932 on 15 with a 52 grain slug. Oh yeah, that made a big difference. Jesus Christ. Let's see how accurate it is. See if I can hit one of these little dots. Oh wow, damn close. I gotta adjust it a little bit, but this thing pretty much stayed true. Perfect. A couple shots later, it's right in the right spot. Barely was off. Oh yeah. Alright, let's kick it up a notch. Yeah, it's a little high now. That one was 985. Yeah, just a little high. Let's try a couple more steps, see if we could break 1,000. Might need a little more air. Yeah, let me just turn up the regulator a little bit. I love that it's in the front on this guy. Alright, that's 170 on the reg. Wow. 996. It's up there with my impact already. Now it's going a little left. Let me see. I might have to turn it back down to keep accuracy. Yeah. Alright, we're gonna go back down a little bit. I think I'm gonna go for 18. Yeah, I'm still a little left. Nice. Dead on. Oh yeah, baby. She's a humming. Damn, that chronograph is fucking bouncing around with the wind of this thing going by it. Which means I could probably use slightly less air. I think that's my last shot. Yeah, I'm gonna have to ring the scope up a little bit. Oh no, I have one more. Well, I gotta need some air. So, yeah, I got the rig up. This tank wasn't all that full. I could only fill it up to like 200 in the first place. Yeah, 225. Yeah, that's where I filled it. Nice. Right there, up one click. Perfect. Beautiful. Let's go. Oh yeah, you're fucking zeroed now. Wait till I show you that last 8-shot group. My last 8 shots were in this one hole I'm about to show you. That was a good amount of work on that gun, but I'll tell you something, it was fucking worth it. So, right there at the bottom, that hole, that was my point of aim, was right there. And I was going a little low, and I adjusted the scope a couple clicks, and that is 8.25 caliber 52 grain slugs. That was pre-modification. That was another, I don't know, 8 or 10 rounds, and then I was shooting for these little things. But yeah, it's grouping. I mean, that's beyond sub MOA. I mean, I'm at 50 yards, and that's 8 shots in maybe 3/4 of an inch at that, if that. So, I mean, at 100 yards, with you know, with taking my time and using my breathing techniques, I would totally have it, and probably the same grouping. You know, I mean, I'm obviously just shooting quick here. I'm not taking my time or breathing the way I'm trained or any of that kind of stuff. But I mean, I could. Let's see how much tighter I can get it. Wow, I don't even see a third hole. I think I went right through the same fucking hole. That one just made the second hole bigger, or third hole bigger, second and third hole bigger. Jesus, it's still one hole. Yeah, I could do a lot better. This gun can do a lot better. Let me put this length to pull out a little bit. That hole's getting bigger and bigger. That's it. All right, let's see what it did. Plus, I'm very exhausted. It's like 3:30 in the morning, and I've just finished working on that gun because I was finishing up the kitchen today. By the time I got back to my shop and started working on that gun, it was late already, and here I still am. But I'm heading out of here as soon as I'm done with this. So, aside from these shots that we're shooting at the targets down there, this was 1, 2, 3, however many there was. All those shots are right. That one that's not part of that group exactly. But that hole, that one, there's one right there, and then that bigger spot is probably like 4 shots. However many shots you heard me take, I didn't count. But that's that hole, those holes, and that bigger one. That's all the holes that I made with that. Gun is crazy accurate, and now it's crazy powerful. I mean, it was already really powerful stock. So that tungsten hammer, I don't think I'm going to do anything else to it. It shoots so good. It's powerful. It's loud enough as it is, even with a silencer. I don't want to make it any louder. And it's powerful as hell, and it's crazy accurate. Crazy accurate. It's this. I would venture to say this is more accurate than my impact. You know, for 25 caliber. The impact I think I'm going to put back to 22 because I made a whole bunch of 42.3 grain 22 caliber slugs. So I think I'm going to keep that as a 22 for a little while. But I'm really glad I was able to make this M-lok work out because that was kind of pissing me off that I had to go without any kind of rail, and they don't have any kind of rail that you can buy to replace the original. So just got to make it work. If anybody wants to know how I did that, I'm happy to tell you. You know, I kind of had to, so I had to use my CNC table on my drill press, and I just lifted up the press. I just lifted up the table to the press, so that the CNC bit was right where I needed it the whole time I moved it. Clamped everything down, and then just moved the table with the cranks, and you know, I just CNC'd out the bottom, that whole bottom section. I measured where the tank was going to be and mocked it up and everything to make sure where I needed to cut. And then I put this thing, that too. This block that comes with the huma one makes it even further, but the bolts that were holding this metal piece that goes right under the barrel and holds these three, has the threads for these 3 bolts on each side. That piece I had to make my own bolts for. So the thread, I don't know off the top of my head, but if you're interested to know what it is, then just message me or comment, and I'll go look at the die, and I'll let you know. But I tapped them myself. I threaded the bolts myself out of some big long bolts that came out of an alternator actually, and then I had to grind down the heads and turn them into, you know, I used the lathe and turned them into hex bolts, and they came out great. I painted everything, but I did a little bit of touch-up sanding, and I got to paint one more time, and then that piece of Picatinny I have to paint. But when I'm done, you won't even know that it was, you know, that it wasn't professionally done. I mean, you just got to clean up after yourself, sand everything down nice, and paint it. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope that this helps one of you guys, whoever's got Panteras. There's no other solution out there for the second tank, and if you want to use both tanks like I did, and you want to have a way to have a bipod or have, you know, any other kind of accessories on your gun, you're going to have to figure something out like I did. So I'm happy to help you do that. All right, thanks guys.